welcome in the ESPN 1320 statistician, our man Will Z, hard at work at all times, bringing us some of the best King stats. You might as well work. I mean, you need to be getting paid by ESPN 1320, NBC Sports California, the Sacramento Kings. They're all featuring your stats. But we want to talk about this game tonight in the Kings and Cavs round 2. But we're all kind of sitting on the edge of our seat right now. Even Will Z was like, whoa. Don't do the epiphany when I'm gone. I need to hear about this epiphany now. And at some point this morning, I checked the show. What are we going to do today? Everything's laid out. We got the all-star lineup coming. We got Will Z, Trista, Kyle, James, close out the week strong. But then I see this note. I had the greatest epiphany I've ever had last night. Can't believe I'm going to say this. I didn't write that.
That was me. And I want everybody to know this isn't a work. Matter of fact, I don't do any works. Like, that's not me. You guys get me all the time. Ain't no work, man.
No, just sometimes you say things and we think it's a work.
Yeah, ain't no work, man. I say what I say. You know what I mean? I stand on what I say at all times. So it's never a work, but this really isn't a work. Okay. It's crazy, bro. I was thinking last night, and I was listening to some conversations, and I'll even divulge a little bit more. I was listening to Bill Simmons, right? And this really don't have anything to do with Bill Simmons, but that's what I was listening to. And they were talking about the NBA and specifically the Western Conference. They had a little conversation going on, and I said, bruh, the Kings can make the NBA Finals this year. No lie. I'm not BSing you.
Okay.
Think about what I just said. And then think about, like, your first thought. I know. Stop. Think about it. The Kings really could make the NBA Finals this year. We've seen these teams for about 30 games or so, 25 to 30 games. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they can't beat Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. They can't beat Boston in the series. They just can't. But they're in the Western Conference. And think about the Western Conference. And tell me that it's inconceivable that this Kings team that we've seen so far this year, there's just a team in the Western Conference that there's no way they can beat them in 7 games. I don't think that team exists. It's crazy. I know it's crazy.
Was Matt Barnes at the house last night?
Matt Barnes is not at the house.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay, no,
I can't believe I'm saying it, but think about it.
Okay. That's bold, but the premise of what you're saying, I guess it's not wrong. Because it's like, we haven't even seen them play the Pelicans yet.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's a bold thing to say.
It is. And
for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 16 years.
That's what's crazy.
Like, hey, this could be the year they make the playoffs. Could be the year they make the finals.
That's what's crazy.
But I get what you're saying.
I mean, it's not wild. The Kings have the 4th best net rating in the West. So it's
and
there's no dominant team in the Western Conference.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. I preference it by saying if they were in the Eastern Conference, there's no way I would think
can't get past Boston, but might not even get past Philadelphia.
Might not even be able to beat Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? If they were in the Eastern Conference, I would not think this way. But I've seen all these teams play in the Western Conference. I've seen where they're at. I've maybe somebody could get hot, like the 2 teams. There's really 3 teams that come to mind. Maybe New Orleans takes off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Memphis takes off. Maybe Denver takes off.
I was going to ask you about Denver.
Those are the 3 teams. I don't think Phoenix is going to run and hide from nobody. I don't think that's the team. I don't think the Warriors are the team. I don't think the Clippers are the team just because those guys don't play enough. And I like the Clippers.
But I got you. So okay, I'll say it like this. At this moment, sure.
That's all I'm saying, man.
Sure.
I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking.
I think it could feel different though in March.
It could absolutely.
If Kawhi and Paul George are playing on the night-to-night basis, and our original thought of how good the Clippers are comes to fruition. I think Phoenix is who they are. I think things can only get worse for Phoenix. I don't know that things can necessarily get better for them. And I'm not suggesting that Phoenix is bad. They're far from it. But what I mean is, like, they're good, and this is what they are. I don't think they're gonna. Oh my God, Phoenix just hit another level.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder if the Pelicans hit another level.
I think that's one of the teams.
And I do wonder, and I think you already said this, so I'm repeating you. If Memphis can hit another level, Golden State, I'll have to believe Golden State's gone when they're gone. You know what I mean? Like Golden State, I can comfortably put in the Clippers category. In that later in the season, they might look very different than they do here today.
For sure.
That was an epiphany.
Yeah. Like I said, it just and once again, this isn't a prediction. This isn't a spoiler. It's not either one of those. I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm looking at the Western Conference, and I don't see a team right now the way I look at Boston, Milwaukee, and I can even throw Cleveland in there. I don't see a team in the Western Conference like that.
And for those just tuning in, Matt Barnes was not with you last night at the house.
Matt Barnes, I don't even partake.
All right. All right. Well, I get Kenny's half of Light the Beam then. Let's bring in Will Z officially here. Will, thanks for joining us. Cavs again tonight, man. Kings and Cavs. 200. Oh, what was the score? Was it 247 points scored this first time around? Kings put up 127 on Cleveland. What do we know about their defense since then?
Yeah, pretty much every time it happened last time I looked at the Cavs too. Every time I dig into their numbers, they're so much better than I thought they were. So they have the top ranked defense. So the Kings are coming off a game against the Bucks, who had the second best defense, and surprise, here's the number one. So how's that for a 2-game stretch? But they just do pretty much everything well, and they don't really have any cracks in their armor. So opponents shoot 45.4% from the field, which is 4th lowest in the NBA, 34.5% from deep, which is 10th lowest. The Cavs are the best rebounding team. They allow the fewest at 40, which has been a problem for the Kings. And then they only give up 46 points in the paint, which is a strength area for the Kings. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of go up against that. I don't know, kryptonite-esque stat there, I guess.
Well, one of the things that I think about, I'm trying to pull this up as we speak. Probably should have done this before, but it just kind of came to my mind. That's the Cavs. You laid it out perfectly. They're one of the top defensive teams in the game. But one of the things that I always think about when I think Sacramento Kings basketball is the 3-point shot, and we know the size that the Cavs have that, kind of make it hard to score inside and help them be, this dominant team on the defensive end. But the strength for the Kings, in my opinion, is the way they shoot the 3-ball. How is Cleveland in defending the 3-point shot?
So they're okay at it, but it is, when you look at their wins and losses, it kind of stands out as their weakness. So Cleveland, they've lost 9 games on the year. In 8 of those games, their opponents have shot over 40% from beyond the arc. So you see the trend when opponents shoot really well, it's kind of the only chance of beating them. The only outlier was the one weird game against the Knicks where both teams shot like 30 in the 30s from the field and the teens and 20s from 3. So that's the outlier. But and we saw it with the Kings last time. The Kings made 17 threes on 43.6% shooting in the first matchup. That's an amazing game, and they won by 7 points. Like, it takes a near perfect game, especially for the Kings roster and talent, a near perfect game to beat the Cavs.
There was 17 to 39. They were 52% from the field, 43% from 3. They were 30 of 35 from the foul line. It's good for 85.7%. That's not the number, though. The number is
35.
The Cavs were 17 of 20. They shot significantly more free throws. And we'll go over some of the numbers from the first game. We'll see talking about rebounding. The Kings got like doubled up on the boards in the first game. And managed to walk away with that 7-point win there. But this is I think it's two slightly different teams here. You know, they've played a little bit more together. You know, we forget also, you know, Cleveland is adjusting, similar to the way Sacramento has been adjusting. Cleveland's been adjusting with having Donovan Mitchell out there. I know, you know, there's a lot of concern about De'Aaron Fox, him being questionable tonight. Donovan Mitchell is also questionable. And I think Kevin Love has been ruled out for tonight's game. Is it big impact there with Kevin Love out?
Yeah, kind of sneaky big. So Kevin Love, he's just such a good, at this point in his career, I think one of the best bench players in the league, because he can do pretty much everything. He's averaging 10 points and 7 rebounds, and shooting well from pretty much everywhere on the floor. So him being out is a huge advantage for the Kings, especially with his rebounding abilities. I remember I think it was the fourth quarter of last game, I thought for sure that Kevin Love was going to get the Cavs the lead back last time they played. So it might not seem big, but I think that's a big one.
Yeah, he was killing. He was a problem out there. Karis LeVert was also a problem for them. I forgive me if I missed you just saying it, but I think it's really big if Donovan Mitchell is available or not in this game. Obviously, he's a great ball player, but
That's a fire take.
right? But he was unguardable for a lot of that game. Unguardable. And it took Fox and Davion, they stepped up their game and played some good defense late in that game to kind of slow him down a little bit. But that's once again, fire take. That's a big part of this game tonight if Donovan can go or not, because
it's a big story if Davion can't go too. We got a problem.
Right. But if he can't go, I thought, and Garland's in a different place in his season right now than he was in that game. But that was a lot of their offense between Love, LeVert, and Donovan Mitchell. That was a lot of the reasons why they were able to come back, because the Kings were up, I don't want to say big, but double digits in that game. And Cleveland closed it out with those two going off. So it's going to be interesting to see what Donovan's going to be able to do.
Yeah, they were up 15.
If he plays.
Yeah, it looks like LeVert. So in the last game, LeVert had 21, Donovan had 38, and Love had 9. So that's 40 between Mitchell and Love, 47 points. But yeah, I mean, Mitchell's coming off a 43-point game against the Lakers, where he shot 63, 50, and 100% splits. So,
Domas had 21. He was one of like 7 double-digit scores in the last game. He's obviously been incredible. He legitimately flirts with a triple-double every time he steps on the floor. What are the numbers showing about Domas recently?
It's just, I mean, the main thing that stands out is his three-point shooting. He's up to 39.3% on the season, which has just been steadily climbing. A lot of that's because in the last 12 games, he shot 62.5% from 3, which is just bananas. Like 62 from a center. But he's not doing it on very high volume. He's only taking 1.3 a game. So just bump that up to 2, 3. He can pretty much get a wide open 3 anytime he wants. Where'd it go? So many tabs. 23 of his 28 threes have been wide open this year. So teams aren't really guarding him out there at all.
Yeah. For more numbers on this game tonight, head over to ESPN1320.net. Only the cool kids use .net, and
that's next level.
Yeah,
that's next level. They don't know about that.
Yeah, ESPN1320.net. Will Z previews these games every single game. So go check that out. Will, we appreciate you as always, my man. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.